Welcome to my coffee station. Could you tell that it was mine? What gave it away? Fixes tiny rabbit figurine, touches Sailor Moon tray, pats tiny rabbit. Hi, Kirby. So the basics of what you're gonna need is a hand dripper and a filter. Now, anyone who's made coffee before knows that this is the same kind of thing you'd have in a normal coffee machine, right? Just a little more deconstructed. So we've got my cup, which is basically, you know, the coffee, oh gosh, I can't say this word, you guys, carafe? What's the container that catches the coffee? Anyways, that's what this is. This is the filter basket, right? Goes on top. And this is the filter that you normally put inside of it, right? Like that. So it's the same thing as a automatic coffee dripper. It's simply that we're doing it manually. So this is my travel hand dripper. It's just plastic. It's by Hario, which is a famous Japanese brand. They do lots of coffee stuff. I also have a ceramic version of these, but if it's your first time to get into hand dripping, you don't need to go all out and buy all the, you know, expensive stuff. This guy I love because I can just like toss it in a bag and I don't worry about it breaking. Of course, you need a paper filter. When you see this little fold here, you're gonna open it up so that it kind of creates like a little bend, you know, like that. And this fold is gonna go against where your handle is, so that's easy to remember. It just goes in like that. And that's it. Oh, I know I'm right in the middle of filming a video, you guys, but I just got an alert for the new Marvel movie trailer. You guys don't mind if we just watch it, right? Hi, it's business, Martina.
You have to believe me.
Wait, slow down.
They're from another planet.
Who's from another planet?
The chipmunks.
I gotta go.
No, wait.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't hang up.
Sorry. It's Japan. I'm on.
Hello? Damn it!
I have to get this proof out to the people, to the internet.
How?
Who are you? How did you get in here?
We.
You believe me? Well, King Kogi, take me to this hacker woman. Such a bird, King Kogi. Very clever of you to find my hiding place. But ever since I retired from the CIA, FBI, Special Ops, you know my rules. I don't leave my place. And number two, I don't hack without coffee. I'm all out of coffee. Sorry, I can't help you. Wait. I think I can help. With Trade Coffee, you can discover new coffees from the nation's best roaster. Trade matches you to your own personal selection of coffee and ships straight from the roastery at peak freshness. Oh, really? We've been compromised. Mush mush? Hi, Martina. It's business Martina calling. It's for you. So first you just answer some questions about how you like your coffee. It really doesn't matter if you are a newbie or if you're an expert at drinking coffee. Trade will curate matches that are just for you. Then you just choose your delivery frequency and it'll appear, boom bam, at your doorstep. Delivered at peak freshness. Then you can rate it and just repeat because Trade will think about what you rated and then curate new matches for you to delight you with all the coffees that you love. Click the link in the info box on YouTube, you take the quiz, you sign up, and boom bam bam, using my exclusive link, you get your first bag from Trade Coffee for free. Thank you to Trade Coffee for sponsoring this video. We gotta go. Gonna need a bigger pig. Whoa, what an amazing trailer. Oh, that's awesome. Man, who would have ever thought? Astronauts coming from space. It's crazy. Coffee bean time. I do use whole bean coffee. These ones are from Red Rooster Coffee. They actually were shipped to me from Trade Coffee. As you guys know, I work with Trade Coffee, which is awesome. I have a freaking coffee sponsorship. Whoever would have thought? It's my dream. Anyhow, I got distracted there. The reason I'm going to recommend you to try out whole beans for the first time if you haven't already is because, first of all, coffee beans aren't beans. They're cherry pits. The cherry is dried and removed, and inside of it is the pit, which we know as a coffee bean. Coffee beans aren't even beans. Like, for the longest time, didn't you think that a coffee bean was a bean? Because I did, like a kidney bean or like a chickpea or something. But no, they actually are the inside pit of a cherry. And every single one of these cherries, when they're grown around the world, is grown in different soil, different weather conditions, you know, different rain, different sun. And so if you want to talk about things like terroir, the same goes with things like coffee beans. So coffee beans are unique to the region they're from. So if you want to really honor the taste of the soil and the water and the air and the people, getting a whole coffee bean, which is still kind of like fresh and oily and flavorful, and grinding it means that you're going to be getting the taste of the land and the bean and the unique flavors. If you get a cheap vanilla ice cream, you're not going to taste notes of like Madagascar vanilla. But if you treat yourself and get something a little bit higher quality that's made with a whole cream and with eggs and it's custardy, it's gonna taste different. I say give it a go. Get yourself a bag of whole bean coffee. Back to your home, baby beans. Because I use whole beans, I do have a coffee grinder. This one is a super simple one. I think I've had it since Korea. It's just one where you pop it in and then you just push the button and it goes like an angry freaking cat car. And, you can also apparently grind things in here like cinnamon and nutmeg and like hard herbs. Herbs. It is not, in my opinion, the best coffee grinder because it can be a bit uneven, so you'll have some pieces that are bigger and smaller, and that's not the best, but it's really good as a starter, and I also travel with it still as well. I have like a little bag where I travel with my stuff so that if I'm staying at a place for like a month, then that way I have something with me to grind things up freshly. 4 big tablespoons of coffee. This is my amazing coffee scoop that I got from a fan ages ago. Look, it's Swedish. You can tell from the Swedish horse. I say, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Chop, chop, chop. And I feel like an infomercial where I'm like, and then 1, 2, 3 presses. So I want this to be not super duper fine and chalky, otherwise it'll be too thick and sludgy. What? I said sludgy, not spudgy, ghost spudgy. Okay, sorry. Coarse, but not chunky. How do you explain it? Let's just give it a go. So there's still some like chunky pieces. I'm gonna go a little bit longer. Oh, it smells so good. Can you feel the power? Oh yeah, I can feel the power. And oh, what's this? This is my coffee brush. It is from the dollar store. It is just a thick bristled brush. A fake bristled brush. It's a brush that thick bristled. People at home going, Martina, hell no am I gonna brush down my coffee machine. Okay, you know what? I've told you before, this is some delightful ladder building activity for me. I like the process. And I know those of you who have kids and live in other situations where you don't have time for this, I know once in a while, it might be nice to just treat yourself to a nice HandDrip coffee. You know what? Don't clean the coffee machine afterwards if you don't want to. Treat yourself. This is a coffee drip scale. You do not need one of these, okay? When I first started hand dripping, I just hand dripped with a little tiny timer to try to figure it out. The reason why people use this is because it helps you kind of get precision to understand, okay, if I use a cup of hot water and I use a tablespoon of coffee, how will my coffee taste? So it's kind of like doing a wild scientific experiment. And I love this because I loved doing science fair projects when I was a kid. I was like a science fair project champion. Dun, 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 dun. Champion! Name that song an artist. You put on your mug that you're going to use, which weighs a lot. Then you put on this on top of it. And then you change it back to 0. And then you can weigh out the coffee that you're using. And I go for 20 grams of coffee. If you don't have a scale, you are fine. It's about 4 heaping tablespoons. But perhaps you do like hand dripping coffee. Well, then might I recommend a little bit of a goose-nosed kettle. Goose-nosed? Wait a second. Gooseneck kettle. Gooseneck, Martina. This is not an electric kettle, okay? This is just a plain old empty vessel, if you will. And the reason why people use this when hand dripping is because the flow is so precise. So when I pour with it, it's not just like blah, a huge amount of water. Do you need this? No. Have I hand dripped coffee without it? 1,000 times. I have sat in a hotel room before and been like, blah, blah. I have even used a Keurig hot water dispenser and hand dripped using the water. So you don't need this, but it is quite helpful if you start to kind of move your way up the enjoyment of hand drip ladders and you go, yeah, I really want something a bit more precise. This is what the baby you want. Warning, the entire thing is scalding hot once you pour hot water in it. This becomes a beacon of hell. When you put it on and you go to touch it afterwards, I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been like, son of a... So I always keep with me this like a cute little hand towel. And then that way I remind myself to pull the lid off this way so that I don't scald myself to death. It's just so cute. And a side note story, my mom and I watched all the Ghibli movies and she loves Totoro. She thinks he's Totori awesome. And she did not know why I had so much stuff in the house that was covered in Totoro and these little soot sprites. And now she's like, I understand it all, Martina. And I'm like, excellent. She thought it was awesome. Miyazaki, even my mom loves it. And she liked Howl's Moving Castle and she thought Spirited Away was a little scary. And I'm like, it was, but it was also awesome. We're gonna pour our hot water in here, which is gonna, number 1, rinse the paper filter taste away, and number 2, it's gonna warm up our mug beautifully so that our mug is nice and warm and ready to go. So let's go ahead and pop our kettle on and get this puppy started. While the ketter's boiling, unceremoniously, while that is dripping through, I am going to take my hand drip kettle and I'm going to fill it with water. Now there are a lot of people in the coffee world that talk about the importance of temperature because it's true. Really, 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 really hot water will burn your coffee beans. And then the coffee will taste bitter because it's just too hot. But by the time I finish washing my filter, warming up my cup, putting this here, scooping in the coffee, it's about the right temperature to start hand dripping, so I'm not too concerned about that. It's gone through now. And I'm gonna just dump my water in the sink. My cup is nice and warm. 1, 2, oh, it smells so good. 3, I'm bringing mine to 20. No, why'd you embarrass me in front of my friends? Anyways, there you have it. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a shakedown to even it up. And then I'm going to reset it again back to 0. I'm going to be dripping to about 220, 230 grams of hot water. So the first thing we're gonna do is add a little bit of hot water to just wet the coffee, and we need it to start blooming. And what that means is this coffee, this is like a science thing. See how it's bubbling? So the hot water goes on at first. It allows it to degas, bubbles will come out. We want it to bloom. That's when it like looks all brown and gorgeous and caramelly. I give it like 30 seconds of thinking about what it's done in life and shame on you. And then I start the actual hand dripping process. We're looking to take about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes to get all my water down to 220 grams of hot water. Set your iPhone and be like 2 minutes, or your Android or whatever, and just take your time kind of dripping it. Maybe you just want to drip it to halfway through the cup or something. Our goal is to not add any water to the edges. We're not trying to wash down the edges. And the reason why is that this is covered in ridges, and the ridges are actually lifting up this filter a little bit from touching it. So when you pour the water, you want to be kind of pouring it around here-ish. I've seen people zigzag as well, but you don't want to go on the edges or the water is going to rush down the side directly into your cup and you're not going to get any delicious coffeeness out of it at all. I'm going to start my timer and we're going to start our little circles. You know what song I've had in my head for the entire week, and I don't know why, but now I'm gonna get it in your head. Stop right now, thank you very much. I need somebody with a loving touch. Hey you, always on the run, gotta slow it down, baby, gotta have some fun. Na 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 I don't know why it happened. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's because my niece is going to art camp, and when I was in grade 9, 10, I was part of Parks and Recreation, which is like day camps for people in Toronto, and we had what's it called when you, at the end of the year, when you like get on stage and like put together like a song and a dance, and the girls in my group who were little kids, and Spice Girls was trendy, they really wanted to do Spice Girls, and I was in my like severe alternative rock heavy metal stage, like we're talking Deftones, Korn, Limp Bizkit when they first came out, like, you know, we're not like into the Spice Girls. However, for the sake of being a camp counselor, I did it, and I did the whole dance, and they dressed me up, and I did it with them. Yeah, so I think it just kind of brought back some memories for me. Just shaking it up a bit. Do 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 do. Gonna get a copyright strike. Nah 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 nah. 215 grams. I'm at 2 minutes and 14 seconds. I've reached my capacity for how much I want to hand drip now. I'm gonna move this off to the side, and I'm not gonna burn my hand off. And that is pretty much it. Do this the first time ever. You're gonna have a million things happen to you. You're gonna have your coffee taste like crap. It's gonna be burnt. It's gonna be not burnt. It's gonna have no flavor. There's gonna be a million things. And luckily for you, you have the internet, the magical, magical internet, which will help you out with any of your problems. But it's kind of fun. It's like a science experiment, you know? Like you get to learn new things and try new adventures, and yeah, that's my story. Hiya! Into the sink. Stop. Right now, oh, damn it, you guys. I thought I was free. All right, now, let me get to my spoon. Give it a bit of a stir to make sure all the flavors came together. Yummy looking. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, that is a good coffee. Ooh, This has so many flavors in it. It's caramelly. At the very, very end of my mouth, I'm tasting the tiniest bit of tartness. If you get other coffees, you might have tartness as being the forefront. Like, for example, it might be a very lemony coffee. I'm not into coffees that tend to be stronger on the lemony front, so I prefer a citrus taste such as a Granny Smith apple, which is not a citrus, I'm aware of that, but when you talk about coffee and you talk about the different kinds of tartness, oh God, I'm doing it again. I'm ranting about nerdy coffee stuff. Thank you so much to Trade Coffee for sponsoring this video. I have this coffee bean bag, I have another bag of coffee beans, and I have one more bag to go through. Yum. Now that is a delightful coffee. You're coming with me.